Hey guys, so I'm going to do a reaction video. I haven't done that in a while. It's where I'm wearing my headset, so I'm going to be on my monitor. And I'm going to be reacting to the video, Are Women's Dating Standards Delusional? Now, if you watch my channel, you know my position on a lot of this content that's being really popular right now. I saw it coming half a decade ago more. You know, I knew that we were going to get to this place where everyone's just complaining about women. Basically, it's just the flip side of feminists. It's just the men's time to go, well, women suck, blah, blah, blah. I won't chase after women. I'll just focus on my goals and my dreams. And basically, I don't need no man, but men's edition, right? So you know my perspective on this. However, there is some truth to there's always a little bit of truth to what people are complaining about, right? But what can we do with it that adds practical value to our dating life? Because if you just want to complain about women being delusional, there's plenty of content out there that's going to reinforce your worldviews. Now, is that an accurate representation of what's going on in everyday life for most people? Maybe a little bit, but is it the whole picture? Probably not. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you a little bit of a deeper psychological look into why women are seemingly so delusional with their standards, right? A very average looking woman saying that I want a guy who's 6 feet tall, makes 200K, blah, blah, blah. And what's the purpose of that, right? And why men are, oh, I just want a girl who, you know, is an actually living human being and breathing and, you know, she's nice to me, right? So men have really low standards and women have super high standards. And why this delusion is, you know, somewhat unwarranted, obviously, because if she's average, she's probably not going to get some super high value guy. But there's actually some positives to being delusional because you're more likely to actually get something closer to what you're bargaining for, right? If I'm happy with just 20K, you know, and then someone else is delusional and it's like, I want 50. Well, that person might not make it to 50, but they might make it to 30 because of their delusion. Their delusion might lead them to get a little bit more bargaining power, right? Is there power in humility and blah, blah, blah? Yeah, you know, we'll go into that a little bit, but I want to give you a sneak peek of what's actually going on, right? So let's see how these people are answering questions, and I'm going to give you my perspective on someone who really knows women and really knows men because I've been coaching them for a fucking long time and I've been with a lot of girls, so I know exactly how these people are feeling.
We have just clinically proven which gender is more delusional using one simple test. The test asks a series of questions to see how many people in the population fit your ideal dating criteria. What's the minimum height?
5'9".
All right, I'm out.
5'10". 5'9".
Okay, I'm taking L's today, damn. Minimum height.
6 feet.
Yeah, that's where they get you.
5'8". 5'8".
That's reasonable.
5'10".
6 foot.
5'6".
Like at least 6.
What is the ideal?
Okay, so let's just see the averages, right? So this is averaging around 5'9", 5'10", right? We got a couple 6 feet in there, a couple 5'10s, right? A 5'6", that's you know, a little bit out of the norm, right? So 5'9", 5'10", 5'8" on the lower spectrum, 6 foot. So let's say like 5'9 and a half, 5'10 is like the average expectancy. That's not terribly delusional. I mean, what's the average height for guys? Probably 5'8", 5'9", right? I'm 5'8". Never affected my dating life. I've even had one girl say I was too short, and then we ended up making out later. So I'm sure I've been rejected for my height without knowing it, right? But I've been able to overcome it and get plenty of success without it, right? So just because women are saying something doesn't mean that actually plays out with their actual choices of mates, right? So this guy is going to basically posit, oh, here's evidence that women are delusional. Okay, but that's just what they're saying. Anyone with any experience with women is going to know just because a woman says something doesn't mean it's true, right? I'll give you an example. I like nice guys. Okay. Then you look at their life and they date toxic assholes. Okay, so clearly there's a disconnect between what they say they want and what they actually go after, what they'll take, right? We can't just, when we're looking at objective reality, we have to look at the negative things that disappoint our expectations, like, oh, she wants a nice guy, she ends up sucking the dick of the asshole. Disappoints our expectations, we go, oh, women do the opposite of what they say. They say they want nice guys, they only want assholes. Okay, that's fine, that's fair, right? Objective reality. But if you look at what women say they want a little bit higher than average, or let's say 5'10", 5'11", right? They want a taller guy. But if you look at actual reality of who they end up dating, it's probably not always this height. If you get a really slick guy who's 5'6", she's probably going to fuck him. Why not? I've seen it happen. I'm 5'8". I'm very average. I'm like right at the... I'm not technically a manlet, as they call it, right? I'm right at the edge of it. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, I've always felt kind of short. So it hasn't really affected... But in any demonstrable way, I haven't, like... Maybe I've lost a few girls because of it. But it hasn't had any significant effect on the overall satisfaction of my dating life. Because I had game, I had charm, you know... I know how to talk like I have a big dick. I know how to seduce a girl. I know how to make her laugh. I know how to actually listen to her, blah, 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 right? Charisma, smoothness, sexiness, etc. Okay, so if we see women giving their expectation of this, but we find them bargaining and taking this, that means that what they say and what they actually do are in conflict. So just because we demonstrate that women are delusional, it doesn't mean that they actually are in practice delusional, right?
What is the ideal height that you're looking for? Over 6 feet, right?
No preference.
I don't care.
5'3" to 5'4".
Okay.
Shorter than me.
What's your height?
6'1". I guess taller than 5 feet.
I'm not concerned about height.
Under 5'10". We'll get real
5'10".
picky here.
Yeah, so you go to 4 feet?
Yeah, it's great, man. Can we go lower than 4 feet?
If I meet a funny,
I like this guy.
beautiful woman who's, 4 feet tall, go for it.
Or just like a very funny, beautiful woman that's like 7'7".
Would you
Okay, did you notice anything? Right? See, this is where I kind of doubt people's intelligence, right? It's staring us in the fucking face. Where are women averaging taller than them? Where are these men averaging shorter, right? You didn't see any of them say, oh, well, at least 5'10". It's always under, right? And the guy even made the joke, like, if she's if there's a smoking hot chick and she's 4'9", you probably go for it. It might feel awkward sometimes, but you probably go for it, right? All these guys are going lower than them. Well, isn't that delusional? Oh, that's shitty of men. They want women shorter than them. That's okay? If it's okay for men to do, then women want a guy who's taller. We're not going to get into, it's because biology. She needs a man who's going to, feel protective of her because protecting her from wolves or some fucking biological evolutionary argument. It doesn't fucking matter, right? Women usually, on average, want a guy who's taller than them. And men, on average, usually want a girl who's shorter than them. Because he even made a joke at the end there. He's like, what about a 6'6" girl? Right? Would most men feel uncomfortable with a really tall woman? Probably, actually. Right? So far, I don't see any delusion. I just see women want men who are taller and men want women who are shorter. And they just men have a higher spectrum of tolerance because it's much more common to find a shorter girl than a tall girl. I don't see any delusion here yet.
exclude obesity?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No.
Nah.
No, I'm inclusive.
I'm inclusive. If a woman says she's inclusive, you probably know all these people who talk about inclusivity, right? Do they end up being
Except
very
if you're below
tolerant?
6 feet.
Correct.
Exclude obesity.
Now, that was delusional, right? I'm tolerant. I'm okay with someone who's obese, but he has to be over 6 feet. Yeah, you're right. Right? There is some delusion going on here. I'm aware of
I would
that.
exclude.
But
Yeah.
it's not
probably.
that bad.
Yeah.
What about if they're fat? Do you care if they're fat or not?
No.
You don't care? Or you
I don't care. Like, I enjoy little dad bod.
Would you exclude overweight and obese?
No.
Yes.
Would you exclude obese and overweight?
I'm going on record, but yes, I would.
Nah.
No.
What about overweight or obese? Do you care?
Yeah, no, I definitely give a fuck about being
No,
overweight.
okay.
I want like $100 or cheaper on the dinner bill. So yeah.
Minimum income. Like let's say
60?
Okay. So there was pretty split, actually, there between guys caring and women caring. So they were all, like, some of them were okay with this, some of them are not. All right? On average, men care more about physical appearance than women. Women will forgive a guy who's a bit overweight, but he's charming, funny, etc. Men are a little bit more strict about it, right? Some guys like a little bit of a thicker girl, not a big deal, right? And people go in phases. Sometimes people will gain weight, but for the most part, guys are going to want girls they look better, right? So on that end, I still don't see any grand illusions yet.
60,000.
70K, $30,000.
I don't think that matters to me.
I really don't care about income. As a student myself, like I don't have that much money right now.
I'm a broke college student, so I guess they can be broke as well.
I'm in college. I don't expect you to.
This is a demographic problem. Most of these girls are in college, right? So they're not yet, for the most part, in a position where they need to look for a provider, because that's not even their mindset right now, to look for something to settle down with, right? They're open to it, but they're not super looking for it, right? So them being a little bit more okay with incomes is actually wrong, I would say. I say most women would probably want a guy who's a little bit higher up for, I mean, if you're in Europe, Eastern Europe making this, then perfect, right? But if you're in America, 60K, 70K, okay, yeah, that's super doable, right? But if you're with a guy who's making 30K and you guys have a kid, things might get a bit rough, right? I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with wanting something like 60, 70K if you're going to start a family. There's nothing bad about that, right? And men are the breadwinners, and women usually are not making as much money as men. That's always going to be true, even in modern societies like right now. It's always going to be true. It's just, I don't care how much progress we make, men are going to make more money than women for 20 different reasons. So this is just desire. This is just how it works. I don't think this is anything negative.
A lot.
All right, he's on food stamps, so
I'm gonna say at least 200.
Okay. You're going to see this girl's this is an example of a girl who's up her own ass, right? But everyone else seems pretty reasonable. So I don't see any delusion yet, except for this chick.
200.
That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people, right? So 1 out of 8 chicks are fucking delusional. Okay?
Grand?
Like 200.
Minimum,
Okay. Another one.
like 30. Maximum, as much money as possible.
That really doesn't matter.
No preference.
No minimum income.
What about minimum income? Do you care how much they make?
No.
Not particularly concerned with income.
Yeah, because you're guys. Of course you don't fucking care how much money she makes. Equality is a fucking lie, and it always will be.
All right, what do you think you scored?
Men and women want different things.
I don't know. This is a percentage of how many people are.
Percentage of the population in that age range fits this.
It's gotta be like 60.
You think it's 60?
There have to be a lot of people in that, right? I don't know.
What if I told you it's actually 16%?
16.
16.
That's very small.
Whoa, 6.4%. Okay. 4.1. So it says you're an aspiring cat lady.
Oh no. I barely did any filters though. Oh.
So it says you're an aspiring cat lady. What do you think it is? Take a guess.
Like 2%.
Yeah, 2.1%.
Wow.
So knowing that, would you be willing to lower your standards or what?
No, I'm not lowering my standards for anybody. Point blank, period.
Would you say that you would lower your standards now that you know it's only 60% of the population?
No, I don't think I would.
Yes.
This is where men start to say, oh, these women are delusional. Okay? This is where I'm half and half on it. Are some of these girls actually going to be able to pull it off? Probably not, right? But shouldn't you always aim for the best that you can get, right? And here's the thing. All the men watching this are seeing this from a men's point of view. Men are very objective paper, resume, checkbox kind of thinkers, right? Oh, these women are delusional. They say they want X, but really they want Y. But what did we go over before? Men who think like this don't understand women at all. You're starting from an incorrect foundational premise. Your presuppositions are just retarded. You don't understand women. Just because women are saying they want this doesn't mean they're actually going to end up with this guy, right? Are they somewhat important, right? Yes, right? They're going to come into play once you have a relationship, blah, 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 blah. But a guy who's charming seduces her, makes her feel good, makes her pussy tingle, and also romantic, right? He elicits a romantic connection, love from a woman, right? And he fucks her good. She'll put up with a lot less than what her benchmark is. But shouldn't she be at least having something that she's aiming towards? Sure. Oh, but she should be realistic. Why? Why should she be realistic? You should aim above your realistic expectations. Why not? I don't see any reason not to. There's no actual argument for it, right? The only argument that guys will give is the whole cat lady thing. Well, because you aspire for a 9 out of 10, let's just say, right? But you're only worthy of a 6 out of 10, then you're going to end up alone. Probably actually not what's going to happen. At some point, she's going to settle for a 7, because women usually date up on average, right? Well, because of her fucking delusion of wanting a 9, she at least got a 7, right? It pushed her to have some standards, right? And these guys who have lower expectations, they're probably going to date down. So they're going to end up going lower than what their sexual market value would be. Having lower standards doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you more virtuous. No, it just makes you have lower standards. It could mean you're humble to a certain extent. It also can mean you're just thirsty and you don't have any selecting power. You don't have any buying power, right? It's so much more nuanced than just, oh, women are estimating they want a 9 out of 10, but they're only worthy of a 6 out of 10. Are some of these women going to turn out to be cat ladies? Sure. But why does it matter? Why is that your focus, right? That's what always gets me about these videos, is why does it fucking matter how these women are if one of these girls ends up as a cat lady, what does that do to your life? Does it give you some satisfaction that she's going to end up a cat lady? It's fucking weird, right? Why are you praying for people's downfalls? Focus on your fucking success, right? But I get it, right? It's entertaining, it's clickbaity, people care about this shit, and there is some interesting information in it. But when it comes down to brass balls, why does it fucking matter how these girls end up, right? So women are not as delusional as you think they are. And you shouldn't really be focused on the delusional women. You should just be, you see this guy out in the street, instead of interviewing girls, you should be approaching girls. But, you know.
That's what it is.
Like 2%?
Much lower.
0.5.
It's 0.28%. Oh my gosh.
12% of people in your age group have all those qualities.
That's not good odds.
32%. Oh my gosh. 23%. It means you're down to earth. So you are down to earth according to, you can see it says down to earth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You can be 30 years
Oh
old and
my
make
goodness. Take a guess at what percentage of men fit this criteria. 2%? Much lower. It's 0.049%.
All right, is this going on the TV? Maybe like almost half, like 50-ish.
Yeah, she got a bit embarrassed there.
It's actually 14%.
Oh,
Clearly she's fucking delusional, right? And she doesn't really have the looks to back it up. I mean, I'm not afraid of being brutal either. But she could go to the gym and put some, if she put on like a bigger ass, right? Put on a bigger ass like it's a piece of clothing. Like if she did some squats and got in really, really good shape, and I bet if she puts on some makeup, she could definitely bump up a few points. But a good body could definitely change a lot. Her face, not working with a lot. Maybe if she sucks dick like a Hoover vacuum, you know, she might get kind of locked in. But yeah, she's probably, and here's the thing though. Guys with those stats don't always necessarily go for the best women. A lot of those guys a lot of people who get to high levels of income, they're usually very achievement oriented. So they just go after women who elicit, they think they're high value, right? If you look at a lot of chicks in Hollywood or a lot of big Instagram, YouTube celebrity women, just high status women, right? Not necessarily gorgeous. You'll find that a lot of them are actually pretty average looking, but they're very good with not only makeup and they work out or even plastic surgery, but they know how to exude sexiness, right? They have game. And they actually end up getting really high value guys. Even though if you were to just compare them to that chick working at McDonald's, but she's a smoke show, right? Most guys are going to skip that chick. They might fuck the girl, but the girl they end up marrying, they care about status. So they want to find a girl who's equally high status, right? That's just how the actual dating market works. It's not as black and white as a lot of guys think it is.
I'm so happy for myself.
Do you think you need to raise your standards or lower them even further? You know?
I probably need to lower my standards, but I don't think I will.
What percentage of the population do you think would fit your standards?
Why should she? She shouldn't raise her standards, and these guys should raise their standards. Why not? If you fail and you had them too high, okay, so what? At least you fucking tried. Like I don't get this argument of like, wouldn't you rather die trying to get something better than settle for something less? Right? Isn't that the whole red pill high value mindset? But then we turn around and our values aren't consistent, right? A lot of guys or a lot of people in life, when you criticize others for X and Y, you have to stay consistent with your own values. Well, shouldn't you aim for higher? Right? What if one of these girls says, okay, you know what? They're probably not going to, right? But if we're just being honest, you know, like I said, I have no problem being brutally honest. But one of these girls said, okay, you know what? My standards are really high. I need to get on my shit. So she starts doing things that are going to attract a high value guy, which is mostly going to be her looks. But a little bit it is going to be getting in high status, because being popular or high status is going to put you into the environment of these high status guys. Like I know a chick she's like a friend from a long time ago. And she was like dating these, you know, somewhat high value guys. Then she started getting more popular on social media herself. And that put her into the circles, right? She was still able to like flirt with high value guys. Like she matched with some NFL guy on Tinder and almost, you know, was going to hook up with him. Didn't end up happening, but like, you know, just being hot is enough because she's a hot chick. But because she started focusing on like being an entrepreneur and starting her own business and da-da-da, right? All things that are very admirable. But she started putting herself into high value circles, and now she's dating a UFC fighter because she put herself in the environment to get picked by one of those guys. Yes, was it looks at the end of the day that ultimately attracted that guy? Fucking duh. But it was also her pursuits in business and social media popularity that allowed her to enter those circles in the first place. You got to be on the field to actually be able to score.
20.
You got 39.2%. So what do you think about that?
Those are some pretty basic questions.
What's missing from the test? Like, what else would you add on to there?
Personality.
What kind of personality?
Not a shitty person.
Okay. And what's the number one?
She actually pointed out pretty easy. She's like, this is pretty basic. Like, that's it? That's how we're measuring people? Oh, women are really shallow. They only care about X and Y. Well, maybe if you want some more nuanced results on what women want, you probably need to ask some better questions. And even more than this, maybe instead of asking questions, you look at what women are actually going for. So how would you do a real test, right? To anyone out there who's a street interviewer, this is what you do. And when I get back to America, maybe I should actually do this. This will take more time and more effort. But you go out and you talk to some women and you say, look, hey, can you compile for me like your last 3 boyfriends or your last 4 boyfriends? And I want you to like rate them on like their sex game, their charisma, their sense of humor, and then actually see pictures of him at the time she dated him, of course, right? And actually get some real data on what she went for, not what women say they want, based on very, very shallow metrics. If we want to have a more robust understanding of women, we have to be more robust with our fucking inquiries.
For their guy.
38% of the population.
38? Okay, that's insane.
13%.
13%. Okay, that's not bad. It's lower than what I expected.
21%.
21%?
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
You think you scored higher or lower than you expected?
That seems about right.
Would you be willing to change your criteria now that you found out it's a little bit lower?
Well, I guess I would.
73% of people, dude. 95%, brother.
But to be honest, this guy, just based on vibe, probably doesn't have a lot of buying power, so it makes sense that he has lower standards, right? But at the same time, right, I got to hold my values consistent. Just because these guys are saying they'd be open to this, right? Because was he one of those guys who said he wouldn't care if she's obese? Would he actually end up acting on that? Or would he be like, no, I'm not going for the whale? We have to ask ourselves the same question. Just because he says he's more open doesn't mean he actually is. So the delusion in women is not as great as we're painting it, and the delusion of men is probably greater than we're painting it, because we have to look at what people are actually going for. But let's say he's telling the truth. He has super low standards. Why? Because men on average have lower standards. For the most part, we're kind of just like, if it's fuckable, we're down for it. Now, will they end up actually staying with that girl long term? That totally depends on how much scarcity or abundance he has. But I think men are more delusional than we think, and women are less delusional than we think. On average, the person you hate is less hateable than you feel, and you yourself are probably a lot more hateable than you think you are.
Oh, only 30%, dude.
Really?
I'm wondering if that's probably about the overweight, obese thing.
Probably,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. Like, just being a decent human being, I think, is really what everyone's looking for.
Not for a romantic relationship. You remember, you have to fuck someone, right? So being attracted to them, like I said, some guys like a thicker girl. That's totally cool, right? But she's still, obese is a very different word than thick, okay? So, are you actually attracted to the person? This isn't a friendship. This is a romantic sexual relationship, okay?
And, like, if you're overweight, that might imply that you're not, and that sounds fucking horrible, but it just would imply, like, maybe you can't take care of yourself.
What do you think the guys have scored that we've asked around here?
Higher than I guess my initial assumption would be. I would say maybe around like 10%. Or am I very wrong? Is it like 50?
46% is what the guys scored.
You know, I was trying to give the guys the benefit of the doubt, but I guess my assumptions are correct.
Well, man, we live in a
Yeah, she's basically saying these guys have low standards. It's not a good thing.
patriarchy, and women get to choose, and that's kind of how it works in the dating society.
Whoa.
We live in a patriarchy and the women get to choose?
They
Interesting.
Assumptions are correct.
Well, man, we live in a patriarchy, and women get to choose, and that's kind of how it works in the dating society.
We live in a patriarchy. I mean, technically he's correct. I don't know if he's talking about like patriarchy from the feminist perspective or just the truth that usually men are ruling, but women get to choose. That's correct, right? For the most part, women are choosing.
We live in a patriarchy and the women get to choose?
They do.
Interesting. That's
you know, they're vulnerable members of society.
Yeah.
And so they do get to be picky because, you know, you don't want to pick like the next Ted Bundy. Like, it does make sense.
Yeah.
So who has
It's actually a valid observation.
more basically delusional dating standards, men or women?
I think women, because they want like 100% perfect guy. Like you want a guy who's a feminist but also pays for all the food and stuff. So
My experience with women, they just want to like know that like you treat your sisters and your mother okay, and that like you're not going to be a douchebag and you're not going to fuck them and never call them again.
Yeah, pretty on point. I mean, so the main takeaway that I want you guys to remember is that just because women or men are saying they want X, look at what they actually take and you'll see the truth. And most people will actually end up taking a lesser deal than they think they do. So men's standards will actually go down even more probably than what they're saying, because on average, most men are thirstier for pussy than women are thirsty for men. Even until an older age, you know, a lot of the red pill talks about the wall. I mean, women still have a pretty good buying power until really, really late. And at that point, it doesn't fucking matter. So conflicts between what people say they want and what they actually go for. The delusion, just objectively, is not actually that great. I didn't see any great delusion here. I mean, the average height, the income seemed pretty reasonable, except for those outliers, right? The two chicks who said 200K. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, they're fucking delusional, so fucking what? That was 2 out of, what, 9? All right, so, right, 20-something% of women are delusional. Great fucking statistics. Most people are retarded. Yeah, didn't need a YouTube video to figure that out. And then 3, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, none of this fucking matters. It's interesting and it's cool and I'm reacting to it. But at the end of the day, does it matter? Go out and get the girls that you want. Go get the girls that you want. And if you can't get higher value girls, it's because you don't have the buying power, right? You don't have the money. The money being, you know, your charisma, your the way you can talk, the way you can seduce, right? The entire foundation of this video is based on the fact that people don't understand what dating actually fucking is predicated upon, right? Women want a man who's, yes, to a certain level, foundationally, he can provide for the family, blah, 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 okay, right? And if he's attractive and tall and good looking, these are extra things to boot. And if you have these things, they're a huge advantage. Not denying that at all. But are you a good talker? Do you know how to listen to women? Are you charming? Do you know how to recognize her signals of interest and when to move things forward and when to pause or when to give up chasing on a girl who's not interested in you, right? These are all things that are going to make you a better dater because they're going to save you time, and they're also going to signal to the woman that you have good dating instincts, which is going to then imply that you're good with women, which is then going to imply that you're a catch because most men are not good with women, and that's going to make you more attractive in and of itself, but also in the process of seduction. Listen to that sentence again. There was a bit of depth there. And I mean, can you fuck good, right? Do you know how to handle drama? Do you know how to handle jealousy in relationships, right? There's so many things with the pickup, the seduction process and all the relationship management that you got to know how to handle, okay? But just the first part of just getting the girls, I mean, do you know how to go out and meet girls in a way that's different than fucking Hinge and Bumble and Tinder or going out to the club on Friday and Saturday night? Well, if you're looking for gold-digging, high, expectation, delusional chicks, well, the clubs are one of the fastest way to go find that demographic. I mean, if you're looking for sharks, then go where there's blood in the water and don't be fucking surprised there's sharks around. Go do day game. Go approach girls in the middle of the day. You'll find average chicks. I mean, these girls are on a college campus, right? So are they representative of the average chick? I mean, to a certain extent, right? But go approach women who are graduated, women who have actual jobs that are in reality. You know, college is a little bit of a delusional place in and of itself because of all the ideologies, and people are young, you know, and they still don't yet have a lot of responsibilities on their plate. Go out into a city and just approach the average woman and see for yourself if their standards are too delusional. Because you'll find that maybe you're not an attractive guy who's tall making a lot of money, but if you're fucking charming and you can sling good dick, all of a sudden all these women want you. Wonder why. Maybe it's because women's standards are not these fucking really basic check boxes of height, income, and how good you look. Women care about a lot more than that. So go out and get good with girls. One of the best ways to do that is, like I said, day game. Go in the description below, check out my course, Meet Girls Everywhere. Teaches you how to meet girls everywhere. And instead of sitting on YouTube and watching stupid videos like this or mine, right? Because technically this is a stupid fucking video, because instead of watching this video, you should be going out and talking to real girls in real life, not jerking off about how women are fucking delusional, right? But hopefully what I did was I got someone who has this retarded mindset and just wants to hate on women for being delusional and watches my video and realizes he's a fucking retard and then listens to me calling him a retard and goes, maybe I should stop being a retard, and instead I should just focus on getting better with my dating life. And then you go in the description, click on this shit. I've probably already pissed you off, but who cares? All right. Hopefully, one of you have broken through to your stupid fucking ego and you're actually going to go out and just approach girls in real life and have a real life experience with an actual breathing human adult female, okay? Instead of your delusions about all these delusional women who have unrealistic dating standards in 2023 and we should go back to the golden age of dating where blah, 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 blah. Just go fuck bitches, right? Get money, have a good life, quit focusing on dumb shit, and learn how to talk to these girls by checking out my course, Meet Girls Everywhere, in the description below. But if you think I'm an asshole and all these women are delusional and you just want to go your own way, red pill, MGTOW, blah, 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 have fun, buddy. Seems to be going well for you. Cool? Like, subscribe, ring the bell, go fuck yourself. Check out my course, Meet Girls Everywhere. Hector Castillo, girlschase.com. I love you. Bye.